My name's Todd Charbonneau, and I sing for the band, and been a resident of Grafton all my life, and that's about all I do.
My name's Ron. I'm the band drummer, accountant, and graphic designer. Just kidding. I just play drums, and that's about it.
And I'm Josh Briggs. I play bass in the band, and I'm also the fashion designer. And I've been a resident of Grafton in this fine town for about 4 years now. Go ahead.
I'm Sean Briggs. I'm the guitar player.
And my brother.
And his brother.
They're brothers, by the way.
That's his most redeeming quality.
Why don't you tell just someone of you explain a bit how the band got together, who had the original idea, and who found who next, and...
Well, I was going to school on Long Island. Josh was playing in a band in Grafton, a local band doing cover stuff. I came home from vacation and decided I was going to transfer schools and that Josh and I should start a band. We talked about it. We wrote some music. We looked for drummers, answered an ad that Ron had put up in the store, and got Ron and another guitar player who's not with us anymore. And then the three of us wrote some more music, worked on all the tunes, and then looked for many singers. Had terrible experience with that.
And Todd had always been a real close friend of mine, and he used to always show up at practice, sit around and watch us. And one day Ron was like, who's that guy that's always sitting on the couch watching practice? Maybe we should have him try out. So I was like, no, Todd can't sing. Next thing you know, we got him.
And it was that night that it was like 1 in the morning, and
yeah, we were all kind of drunk.
we were all kind of drunk. We went down and practiced. We were, let's do some blues stuff. We were all playing different instruments, and Todd started singing. I'm like, oh, you can sing. Let's have him sing for us.
So he wrote some words to one of our songs and showed up at the next practice.
I wrote the words to Killing World, which was on the first demo, and we played it like 20 times the next time we were together, and then they gave me a tape of like 5 or 6 more songs and told me to write some words, and then I wrote words, and here we are.
Well, I think one thing that's different is a lot of bands, at least all of our friends that are in bands, think of recording as such like a big mystery thing, such a big deal. And Ron's studying film and I'm studying communications, and we've both worked with audio stuff in the past. So to us it was just a way to like get what we've done out there. And it wasn't a mystery, it wasn't like this big thing we were in awe of. So it wasn't like we went in there scared or anything. A lot of bands that we know settle for less than what they can get in the studio just because they don't think it's like they have any input or anything. But it's definitely one thing different is the budget was different. I mean, we worked with a much bigger budget for the CD, and the CD was made for a lot more reasons than the demo was. The demo was made to just see what we could get out there for gigs and maybe get someone to look at us.
Production on the CD is 100% better, absolutely, and the studio's fun. It's really fun. Except for when Sean's playing solos.
And we have to sit around.
Yeah, we have to sit and watch him. That's kind of boring. But
The most core thing while recording was shopping around for studios. We spent about a month trying to find the right studio in terms of cost, but production value, and the knowledge of the engineer. And we heard about 20, 30 different tapes in different studios. We heard this one, we're like, wow, that sounds really good. We called him up, and we met the engineer, Eric Masanaga, he's our engineer. And we went in, and one weekend we did the first tape, and it basically was meet our expectations, if not better. So we went back to the CD.
I have a really close friend in Albany that I grew up with, and he's a really interesting guy. Interesting is an understatement about this guy. And he's always been playing guitar. He's the person who influenced me to pick up bass. His name's Gary, and always been talking about being in a band, and always had these totally bizarre band names, from Cocoa Puss and bizarre names that he comes up with. And about a year and a half ago, we entered the Clark University Battle of the Bands, and in order to enter it, we had to have a name to sign down on the little sign-up sheet. And we had been together for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Without me.
Without Todd at that point. And we
I went
needed
to the gig, though.
we needed a name, and I remembered my friend Gary mentioning the name Flat Stanley, which came from a children's book that he read as a kid. And
The book's about this kid who gets squashed by a bulletin board that's hanging on his wall and while he's sleeping, and he does all kinds of groovy things. Like when he wakes up, his parents send him across the country in an envelope and stuff. It's kind of weird. They fly him like a kite.
We had all tried to come up with names on our own, and we had decided that it would be much easier to let an outside influence come up with the name because it just causes bickering, and not only that, it's like one person would get credit for the name, and not that it would cause a problem now, because now there's so many other things that are so much more important than the name of the band, but it was very easy to agree on someone else's name than it was on one of the names that we had come up with. So when Flat Stanley came up, we were like, we took a vote, and it was simple. That's it. Okay.
We had we had a few problems with the rights to the name. There's a couple of other bands, Flat Stanley bands around, but we think it's all cleared up.
we ended up
There's
getting...
no other Flat Stanley.
we ended up...
I don't think there is anymore.
Well, there can't be.
It's
Yeah.
now trademarked.
We trademarked it, so we own the rights to the name. So
Nobody else
if
can
they
use
use it, we can sue them. We wouldn't, I mean, but no one will use it now. There's a lot we don't want to recall. We've had a few real interesting gigs. We played Paxton's anniversary.
250.
225th
225th anniversary.
on the back of an 18-wheeler truck.
Flatbed truck.
Opening for some hick band.
There were a lot of people there. There were a few hundred people there, but there were
A lot
all
of Paxton
parents
residents.
and kids.
It was like a family event. You know, they bring the 3- and 5-year-old kids and just kind of like...
Picnic lunch on the common. And
We were on this flatbed that was about...
Josh had just put new strings on his bass. He was going out of tune the whole show. He fell off the 18-wheeler.
I like fell off, and my amp's leaning to the side, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get back up this 6-foot high flatbed.
The soundman treated us like we had never played before in our lives, you know. I mean, we had played many gigs by then, and we had all played in other bands, and we knew what we were doing. But the guys were washed-up musicians that were just telling us what to do, and it was just irritating.
But to answer your question, we had some better experiences. One time we played with Buffalo Tom right after the release of their first national album. Right after they were on MTV, we opened for them at the Worcester Artist Group, and that was a great show. The place was packed, and they liked us. They still ask about us every time they're in town. And another one was right after the Neighborhoods get signed to Atlantic Records. We opened for them at Clark University.
And then they went on tour with Bowie.
They went on tour with Bowie, so we have had some good gigs, you know, not just 18-wheeler ones.
Plus, we've played some good gigs of our own.
Yeah, we've had a few good gigs.
Headlining, packed a few different places. Starting to get a good response in Boston.
Yeah, we just played with Seika. They were the BCN Rock and Roll Rumble winners. Actually, and I think we got almost as good a response as them, if not better. It was a different kind of reaction, but we got a good response, though.
Personally, Jeff Lynne from ELO. Been a
Beethoven.
That's an interesting question because I think that's what makes our music. A lot of the press who review us, they don't know really what to make of us because we come from such varying influences, and that's why sometimes the songwriting can be difficult because we all grew up listening to completely different things. But I think the end result being that we have a much more diverse sound. You know, you see a lot of bands, they sound just like the Ramones. They just sound like Guns N' Roses. You know, we have such a wide... I grew up listening to hardcore and punk rock, and these guys grew up listening. Well, they can answer their own questions.
Well, we all, like you said, there's so many bands out there that are just terrible takeoffs of other bands because every member of the band listened to the exact same type of music as every other member of the band. So all they sound like is a bad version of the band they listen to. And we all definitely listen to different stuff. I mean, like, I learned how to play guitar when I was very little, and I listened to Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Van Halen, which they hate to hear me say. But I mean, that's not the music I listen to. I do not like that music now. I like alternative style music. But,
Yeah, sure.
but, you know, I bring that to the band, and Josh got a very varied mixture of all sorts of music because of his friends. And like Ron said, he listened to anything but what I listen to. So when you put it all together, it's a unique product because it's not like we all listen to Husker Du or something like that, you know. So we don't all sound like that band.
I thought I took a trip through the Twilight Zone. I walked in, pulled into Grafton, and was a totally different surrounding. I had no idea what to expect. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me.
Brother,
Well,
start at Stanley.
it was weird. Josh, I think when Josh started playing bass with his friend Gary and actually deciding that he liked the instrument, as opposed to, I got him an instrument and said play, and I didn't really force him or anything. He started to like the instrument with his friend Gary and really liked to play. And as soon as I saw that he was interested in playing in a band, I thought, there's the perfect opportunity. If I want to start a band, there's no way I'll lose touch with him. There's no way we'll have a falling out that could really end in me not seeing him because he's my brother. I mean, it's just one of those things. So he wasn't a very good bass player, so I figured it would take a few years at least before he would be at least in a band where I could help with him, help do something with him or learn from him, or we could do something together. So since long before he even moved here, I thought I'd be in a band with him.
I've been playing in bands now for 7, 8 years, I think. And so to me, it's always one band from another. And the band I was in had just broken up, and a good friend of mine, Ben, we were looking for, you know Ben, actually. And Ben and I were looking for some musicians to join us, and we're looking for mainly a bass player and another guitarist. So we put up an ad in the local music store, and we get a call from Josh and Sean, and said, sure, let's do it. And we jammed a few times, and Ben decided it wasn't his thing, and I decided it was a lot different than anything I'd ever done. You know, I'd gone like 6 years straight playing basically hardcore and punk rock, and it got a little tiring after a while. So it was interesting, the kind of stuff that these two wanted to do in terms of, it was a challenge for me because I was used to just playing straight 4/4 drums, you know, real fast. And these guys sort of had a higher ethic of music, should I say. So it was fun playing with them, and I enjoyed it, and decided I was going to stick it out for a while and try to get a singer and take it from there, and it's only gotten better for me.
You know, they like Ron hated it when I was at practice. He didn't like practice at all, like when I was there. And he just never said anything because I was always there. And like he expected me to be there, and I was jealous, just dying to be in a band because I loved the music they were writing. And you know, I hummed the music in school, you know, before I was in the band, and I just jumped at the chance when they asked me to sing. Like they said, we were at the house one night and just playing like covers, like songs that they knew and songs that I knew, and I sounded okay, I guess. So I was psyched.
We all do an equal amount, but we do an equal amount of different things. For example, Todd and Josh are definitely, they go out and get the crowd. I mean, Ron and I are just, we're too busy and we travel in different circles than people that come to our shows. So it's hard to get people to come to our shows. Josh and Todd do a lot of that. Josh spends time on the phone with clubs. Ron has done a lot of stuff in Boston for us. He's done a lot of stuff as far as hooking us up with some of our first gigs because we didn't know anyone, he did know people. I do things like I get on the phone and find out prices of things, where we're going to get the CD made. Ron and I made the decision where we're going to record. Decisions like where we're going to send the CD, what radio stations, what record labels. I find out where are their record labels, where are their radio stations, you know. They're all over the country. We got to find the addresses. I'll send out for stuff like that. But we all do about equal, just different things.
I've heard lots of stories about studios, and you always hear people talking about it, and I didn't know what to expect at all. I didn't know if we were going to walk into this big white room with looked like a hospital, or if it was going to be, you know, a bunch of guys walking around making fun of our music, or what, you know, telling me I was doing something wrong, or I didn't know what to expect, and it turned out to be great. We walked in and just had a terrific time. It was so fun. It was so much better than I had expected.
Well, I think the fun and the funny are sort of hand in hand because I've done a lot of stuff with this band that I haven't done with other bands, you know. In the fact that we realized our goal from the get-go in terms of we demythified what it means to be like a rock group, you know. It wasn't like this polarized them and us. It was like we can be just like other bands. In terms of how big they are, that's just a matter of perseverance. So the fun things to me is breaking the ground. First times we recorded, first time I heard myself on the radio, first time did a television interview. All these firsts are to me fun and have a great time. They're great guys to hang out with. Even if the band broke up or something, I can see myself still hanging out with them. And I think that comes across in the band. If four guys can get along together, then people can sense that when they see the band.
All right, that is as much as I have to say. I have to ask. Thanks for taking out the time to do this. We're yeah, please. You can turn ourselves off and